Hey, Oskar, welcome. Oh, and congratulations. Congratulations. You're not going to be getting any sleep. And with all of the trying to get her to go to sleep time, you'll have more time to watch my videos while you're doing it. But congratulations. Hey David, welcome. Thanks for being here. It's good morning where I'm at, but good afternoon and good evening to all of my international viewers. Welcome, Lord Henry. Thanks for being here. Well, as we've seen, Lord Henry, that's not necessarily the end of the world. You're gonna see me play through that on the Bard playthrough. It just means that it makes it a lot harder. Because you're going to have to fight your way through everything in there. And there's a lot of Steel Watchers. But yeah, really you just have to skip it and come back to it later. You don't want to go in there and clear it out before you deal with the Steel Watch Foundry. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You miss the coronation, so you don't get to talk to him, so you can't strike a deal with him. And what that means is that you don't have a choice but to fight him there. And the fight's going to be hard, but it's not horrible, because I believe I mentioned it. There are 2 exterior balconies on the right and left side of the coronation room that you can use as really big choke points to be able to funnel enemies into it. And you can, if you clear out the entrance, you have to clear out the walkway in the middle. Then you have to click into the throne, or into the audience chamber, and that's the hardest part, is because you're trapped in a room with steel watcher enemies, and you have to, and there's no way to prepare for it. So that's the hardest part of it. And then once you're in there, you click up into that room and do it in either, it's easier to do it when you're invisible, because the detection cones can be a little hard to get around. So make everybody invisible, click into the throne room, and then make your way out to either one of the sides. And then you can drag the enemies out towards you there. And the steel watchers don't walk through the doors. They stay inside the room. Well, that was my experience with it. But yeah, you have to have the fight up there. You can actually still trigger the achievement though, because there are traps in the throne room. But if you're not getting hit by those traps, then you could still trigger the achievement, from what I've been told. I haven't actually done it. Yeah, and you can enter into the throne room from the roof, because when I did it, he had not moved, because I hadn't had the conversation with him yet. He had not moved up to his chambers on the roof. So he's still inside the throne room, which is where you have to have the fight. Oh, that's horrible that you got caught on the way down. That's horrible. Yeah, that room, that walkway there is the worst part of it. That walkway where a patriarch can just randomly open the door and come through, and as soon as they see you, the whole place goes hostile. When I do that in honor mode, I am definitely going to be spending some potion economy to go invisible when I'm through there. I'll go invisible, I'll do it in turn-based mode so that my invisibility lasts a long time, and make my way up there. Because yeah, that's the worst part of it, is that random guy who just walks through that hallway. And I can't remember if the roof is marked as a red area or if you can fast travel off of it, because if you can fast travel off of it, once I'm done clearing it, I'll just fast travel back down and avoid it. Because yeah, it's so random. You never know when he's going to open that door. Yep, he's the worst. He's the worst. Some random NPC. It's crazy how some random NPC can be the one to completely mess things up. It was red. Okay. Yeah, then I'm just, like I say, I'm just gonna, when I go up there, I'll make sure that I've got enough action economy, either with invisibility scrolls or potions, to get myself up and back down. But he won't open up that door, as far as I'm aware. If you go out onto that balcony where I jumped up, and you close the door behind you, I don't think that he opens that door. I think he just walks out of the throne room, through the hallway, and back into the throne room through the other door. I don't think he comes out through that door, so I'm pretty sure you can get out there onto that balcony. You can wait for the guard to go out there. Then you can, in turn-based mode, go invisible, make your way out there, close the door behind you, and the Patriarch won't open that door. He opened the door onto the balcony, not the door leading, the two doors leading into and out of the throne room, but the door onto the balcony. Hey Philip, welcome. That's weird. Might have to arcane lock the door, I guess. Because, yeah, that dude's he's pesky. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream. Episode number 8 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, our admin notes today are not about the game. First of all, I want to send out my heartfelt well wishes for all of my fellow Houstonians here. It's been a rough few days, and I know a lot of people are dealing with severe disruption in their lives, damage to their homes, and or obviously deaths that have occurred. So I want to say to all of my fellow city goers here, that we're all here together for each other, and H-Town strong. We'll come back from it. On that note, if you weren't aware, my city here got hit with a really bad storm on Thursday evening, and we had several people that lost their lives in it, and there are millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property damage throughout the Metroplex here where I live. I have some minor damage to my house, but it's nothing that is, comparable to other people who have it much worse. However, the city is still recovering. There were over 1 million people without electricity. There are still over 500,000 people without electricity in the Metroplex. And it's going to take days for this to come back. And we're going to be 93 degrees Fahrenheit, 94 degrees, and that is 34 degrees Celsius over the next few days. So it's going to be miserable, especially for people without any power. So today we've had internet disruptions, we've had power disruptions that are going to continue through the foreseeable future here. So we'll see if we make it through the live stream without any of that impacting us. Hopefully it won't, but you never know. Right now we do have some, like I say, internet issues and power issues that have affected me personally here at the house. Seems to be streaming okay now, but we'll just keep an eye on it and see what we do. But again, we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. So on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had started into the Risen Road. We had finished up Joaquin's Rest, We had left the Zhentarim Hideout for now because we're going to be dealing with that today. And we are going to be working our way through the eastern side of the Risen Road. And that means we're going to be dealing with a couple of combat encounters. And we're also going to be dealing with a new party member today. And we'll just jump right back in and start looking at this. At the end of the episode, we had done inventory management, and I had told you I was going to do that off stream and kind of wanted to get back to that here real quick. So here we are back in the Grove. If you remember right, when we left at the end of last live stream, we had 1,729 gold, and we were coming back here to sell off our trash bags, all of the random stuff that we had picked up throughout Joaquin's Rest and things like that. And now we are up to 2,518, so 800 gold, another 50% added onto our gold, just with trash that we had picked up. There were obviously some armor and weapons in that total, but when I went back and totaled it all up, almost 72% was trash we had sold, that we had picked up. Random rotted food, buckets, cups, goblets, books, all of that sort of stuff. So if you're really wondering about your gold in honor mode, spend a little more time just picking up all of the garbage, because it really makes a huge difference in your playthrough. We also did pick up a whole lot of camp supplies from Joaquin's Rest, so we now have plenty of camp supplies. And that's going to mean that we don't have to limit ourselves on our long rests. And we still have some more trash in here. It looks like I did not sell off. Those Restarian's arrows.
Whatever it takes.
So it looks like I forgot a little bit of a trash bag here, so let's sell that off real quick.
Looking for steel? I have, well, something close.
Okay, so Damon is out of gold. Well, that's a good setup, because we want to take a long rest here, and that's because this next encounter that we're going to be dealing with, I need to make sure that I have my tadpole power available to me. And honestly, I can't remember whether or not I've used it since my last long rest. So we still have a lot of action economy here, but I have more than enough camp supplies. So we're going to take a long rest here. Probably going to get some sort of cutscene. Yep.
The air is heavy. Moisture drips down your forehead. Pain shoots through your fingers. Your hands shake as they reach upward. Your forehead remains drenched no matter how much you wipe.
Chukil gate vlaketh mazathok. Can you feel it crawling through you? Tendrils squirming in your chest, gripping your heart, piercing your belly. Your bones popping, your flesh swelling. I can. I see it in you. I feel it in me. We are lost. I will be quick with my blade. First you, then the others. Then, myself.
Your minds intertwine. You sense a touch of uncertainty, a touch of disgust.
Okay, so our option here, we're going to have an advantage on this persuasion check here. But this is certainly something that you can fail. Because of what we have here. So I'm going to throw in guidance. We've got advantage on this roll.
I cannot trust my own mind, so it seems I must trust yours. I will wait, but know this, I am watching. If the sickness does not pass come dawn, I will end us all. I came just in time. You are transforming.
Yes, you have. I saved you before. And I'm here to save you again. Don't worry. You will not become a mind flayer. Not while I'm around. I'll protect you. We haven't much time, so listen closely. There is great potential within you. It comes from that parasite. Your instinct is to resist the power it gives, but you must accept it, nurture it. I will keep it from consuming you, but for the sake of both of us, you must learn to wield it. A fight for the fate of Faerun. A fight we are losing. For now. You can change that, but only if you embrace your potential. I have to go. The enemy is closing in. I will be back. You'll feel better. I promise.
Okay, so we get a free long rest out of that. So what was the huge skull, by the way? So what it is easy. It is the skull of a long-dead god from the D&D universe. There's a lot of speculation as to who that skull belongs to, and the game doesn't really go into details that I'm aware of about exactly who it is. But like I say, there's been a lot of speculation about it on the forums, and using the evidence that you learn from looking at the body, multiple arms, that sort of stuff. to figure out if it was any of the potential known deities in the Forgotten Realms universe. But what it is, it's just a dead god. The dead gods live, or the gods live in the astral plane, and their bodies, if they end up dying, stay there, decomposing over time. So let's go ahead and have our conversations here quickly before we head back out.
It's a pleasure.
Did you have any strange dreams of late? Vivid ones? Damn. I was hoping my imagination had gotten the better of me. But this must be something more. This dream companion wanted me to use the tadpole. Use its power. Whoever it was claimed to be an ally, but I don't know. It seems like we can't escape this mess, in the waking world or otherwise.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Astarion.
I had the strangest dream last night. There was a visitor promising me protection and all sorts of delicious powers from the parasites in our heads.
Given our shared affliction, I suppose you had a similar dream. Excellent. Now we can see what these tadpoles can do for us.
Exactly. Waste not, want not. Even when it comes to mind flayer parasites.
Now, was there anything else?
Hey, Lae'zel.
Glick. I had a dream. As we all did, I suspect. Someone came to me and promised to protect me, while claiming that the parasite could empower me. The parasite has taken root, it would seem. Every word, every promise, it is Gale deception. A wise choice. These parasites are a threat to be destroyed, not an opportunity to be exploited.
I had a dream last night. A vivid one. And so did you, judging from the way my tadpole is tingling. Someone came to me and promised to protect me while claiming that the parasite could empower me. Tempting as these powers sound, we should recognize this dream for what it is, the tadpole's little trick. No good ever came from trusting honey-tongued strangers conjured up by illithid worms. Well said. This dream figure is no friend to us.
And last is Gale here.
My apologies. Huh. Not quite myself just yet. I had the strangest dream last night. A visitor came to me. A vision of unparalleled beauty and power. She told me she was watching over me, protecting me, and that our tadpoles could prove beneficial if we embrace what powers they have to offer. An uncanny apparition. Not entirely sure what to make of it. Very curious. In all my readings on the effects of illithid parasites, I've never come across any accounts of correlating dreams between infected parties. Another unique quality of our predicament, perhaps. Are you inclined to take these visitors at their word? If so, we have far more to learn about the powers at play here. Our ignorance as to the exact nature and intent of our saviors is hardly cause for celebration. I hope your confidence proves well-founded. God knows we could use all the help we can get.
Okay, so we finished up our conversation. So who do I think that god is? Boy, again, I'm part of the speculation as well, but there are a lot, and I think the wiki might even go into this. There are a lot of quote-unquote dead gods who have been found in the astral plane in Forgotten Realms lore. And Karsus is one of them. Now, Karsus, the deity, that skeletal deity, has multiple sets of arms, and Karsus was never portrayed that way in the lore. So I'm not entirely sure it's him. That's the most popular one, just because the crown of Karsus becomes a pivotal thing in the game. So honestly, I don't think it has any tie-ins to anyone in particular in the game. I think if it is Karsus, it's not a representation of Karsus that I'm familiar with in any way. But who knows? It could be. It's all speculation. Okay, so we'll go talk to Damon. We'll sell off the last of these trash bags.
I have, well, something close.
There's another 304 gold. So we earned 1,100 gold off of this. Off of just selling trash. So very, very worthwhile. I don't think there's anything left from Damon that we want to pick up.
Keep a blade close.
No. We're going to get better crossbows here in a minute, so yes, I think we are done here. And we're going to go into a fight. So we're going to go to Joaquin's Rest, and we're going to start heading back to the west. And before we get too far, we're going to be heading toward this area here. But before we get too far down this road, we are going to make a change in our party. Okay, because the way that we're going to approach this is, again, going to be a little different and something that you might not have seen before. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, my cat was on the TV and he was playing with my cursor. It was making things a little difficult. Okay, so we're going to go right down here to the bottom, and we're going to make a change to our party. And this is because I need a little more firepower in case things go wrong here.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Oh, would that I could. But you're on back in the thick of things at last. Oh, how exciting. Let me work my magic.
Okay, and Gale's spell book has the Cloud of Daggers and Scorching Ray, both of which can be very, very useful during this fight. And that's why if things go badly, like I say. So
All
we're going to
fashion.
play this a specific way here. So let's leave camp. We'll get our buffs up here.
How delicious. Mutatis mutandis!
Still
Okay,
alive. So,
and
progress.
we're going to send the spell sparkler to Gale.
Quite ready for you.
Okay, and one other thing I forgot. Whoops. Need to make the transfers here. Take the Rain Dancer. I don't think any of this is going to matter. We'll give Gale an armor class boost. This isn't going to matter. Okay. Alright. Now, the way we're going to play this, the fight we're going to get into is right here. And these gnolls have been the end of many an honor mode playthrough. And that's because of the gnoll hunters, who can do a 3-arrow ranged multi-attack, and they can just one-shot you, basically. Flind also has a flail that can stun you, and he also has enough strength behind it when he's enraged to one-shot you. So this can be quite difficult if things get out of hand. Alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our bard, and we're going to move our bard right up here into these bushes. We're going to stay in sneak mode when we do it. And then we're going to bring Astarion up, and those are the only two that I want to get into this fight, at least at the start. Okay? So we're going to move our bard up here. We're going to move Astarion up here. There's Flind right there.
That symbol in the blood. What does it mean?
And we want Astarion to start this off. Okay, that was bad.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I have never had that happen before. Hey. This is interesting. Why is it always my on-stream honor mode playthrough where things go entirely different? Okay. Well, we'll see what happens on his next turn.
Can you feel death's cold grip?
Okay, so we're going to pay attention to his detection cones. we're going to dash. We're going to get...
Time to move.
just out of his detection cone. We're going to use our action to hide.
Don't linger.
Because that messed up a couple of things as far as what this Gnoll is going to do on his next turn. He may choose to walk down this way. As opposed to walking down this way, which he would normally do if I'm found here. So...
Best think ahead. I'm lost.
I'm thinking how I want to play this. I think what I'm going to do is move my bard out of here so that hopefully when these gnolls start coming toward Astarian's ghost to investigate it, maybe I can stay out of the detection cones. And if Flind comes close enough, I can get into conversation with him that way. Yeah, that's what's supposed to have. What was supposed to happen. It is not because of Disguise Self. I know it is not. I've had this conversation a dozen times with Disguise Self. I think what happened is, for some reason this time when he turned, he walked out a little bit farther away instead of walking here. And it was outside of the range for the conversation to start. That's just my guess. But if he approaches me, even if it's in combat, the conversation's going to trigger. I hope. If not, my bard might just end up dying here. But that's not the end of the world.
This feels good.
Oh no, here it comes. Okay, that's one down. Missed. And it's not, I'm not hearing their conversation either. Okay. Me approaching him, I don't think does anything. I think he has to be the one to approach me for it to trigger. So since he's going to be doing that next, this gnoll is definitely going to come down this way now. Definitely going to come down this way, and that means Astarian's going to be knocked out of hiding, probably. Because it's better if this gnoll heads down this way, and Astarian can get up here onto the high ground. I'm debating whether or not I should sacrifice Gale now or not. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave them down here, so if this goes wrong, I can just go back to camp, revivify, and reset on this.
Come on, can't stay idle.
So let's move back a little bit here, because Flind is going to be coming at me.
Very well.
I would like to possibly get in a defensive flourish ranged here.
That won't
It
work.
missed. Yep, I knew it. Okay, well, let's see what Flynn does. Yeah, because this is going to cause the hyenas to go the wrong way too. So Astarian's not going to be able to get back into hiding. So yeah, this went swimmingly bad. Alright, let's see what Flynn does here. Does he just run up and attack? Wow, he didn't even make it to me? Oh, boy. Yeah, this went really, really bad. I'm thinking here. I think what I'm gonna do because these guys are gonna come in here and start multi-attacking me now because they're all under Seething Fury, so my Bard's gonna die. My Bard is dead. No, I've seen that happen before too, because sometimes they're standing in the flames. So, I think my Bard is dead here. So, I'm going to sacrifice her for the greater good here.
Into the shadows. Step quick.
Because, yeah, she's going to die here with these 3 hunters. They're going to destroy her on this turn. Well, I'm getting very lucky with the misses. Okay, so Flind is next. Well, this Gnoll Fleshnar is going to get in place here, but I need to get out of the acid to remove my lowered armor class. And I'm going to try one more time to get this dialogue with Flind to trigger. Want to get rid of their attacks of opportunity. That is what it is. Okay. Come down, turn the corner. Okay.
The shock
Yes.
of psychic pain,
Yes.
the pack leader's mind clamps onto yours. You see yourself through her eyes, a pulsing red cluster of organs. Feast. No. The voice has forbidden this meat. Gnolls see your whole world as a meal. This voice is acting as a leash, but it won't hold them for long. As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
Yeah, it was just a distance thing. He, for whatever reason, maybe because I moved Astarion too far to the left when I was walking up that walkway, when Flind triggered, he moved out from the rock a little bit to walk toward Astarion, and that put him too far away from my bard to initiate this conversation at the start. So you have an Illithid, and yeah, I thought I had tested this previously, where even if you didn't get it on the first, it could work his first time he gets within distance of you. So I was pretty sure it was going to work, but I wanted to make sure. So the Illithid option here is to turn the Gnolls hostile toward the two Zhentarim inside the cave. You do not want to do that. What you want to do is click the option to search her mind for the source of the voice.
A memory. The beast daubs the symbol of the Absolute on a cave wall in blood. Buried deep, a tadpole struggles to assert control against the ravenous chaos of her mind.
Okay, and this is going to open up another Illithid option to convince her that she's on your side and to fight the other Gnolls. And that's what you want to do here. This removes Flind as a combatant on the field, which is huge. But what it also does is lets her absorb some of the attacks from the other Gnolls, specifically the ranged Gnolls, who are such a problem here. And with Astarion, I can take the high ground, I can go into hiding, I can get a sneak attack off to try and help Flind out a little bit, go back into hiding, and move away so that if they come investigate that area, they're not finding me. And then I can do the same thing over and over again and try and keep Astarion in hiding as much as possible during this encounter. That's why I'm leaving everybody else down low. One of the things that was always suggested during this fight was use darkness, because the Gnolls can't shoot into the darkness, so it eliminates them as a threat. For whatever reason, that is an absolutely true statement about what you should do with darkness. However, for this fight, either it is bugged or the devs have said, we don't care. But every one of the Gnoll hunters here can shoot into that darkness. And if you are blinded, they now have advantage on that attack against you. It's like it doesn't exist for them. It is entirely broken. No one knows why. It's been broken since early access. So darkness is not going to help you here in this fight. You need to cause damage, but at the same time, you need to wear everybody down and protect yourself from the Gnoll hunters, because they are by far the most dangerous part of this. Flind, after this fight, Flind is probably going to die. That's fine. If Flind is still alive after this fight, she's going to be severely damaged, and it makes it easier to take her out as well. Now, that gets you the most XP out of this fight, but if we're going to take this option here, we're going to get a big chunk of XP as if we had killed all of the Gnolls anyway. What we're not going to get is the XP for killing Flind. So the best of all worlds is that Flind survives this thing with like 5 hit points. We get the XP for killing all the Gnolls, and then we can easily kill her. it almost never works out that way because these Gnoll hunters are so powerful, but we'll see how it works. And we can still fail this roll, by the way.
Sensing your presence, the Gnoll's tadpole writhes in ecstasy, echoing your command. Its host will feast on Gnoll flesh to control the hunger, to keep her teeth from your throat. A shadow swims across your vision, and a familiar voice tells you to be calm. You are loved.
And now Flind is going to turn around and start attacking them. And I don't know why, but Flind seems to waste all of her attacks on the stupid hyenas first. I do not know why that is, but it seems to be that Flind just hates the hyenas. She should be focusing on the Gnoll hunters, because they are by far the biggest threat to her, but for some reason she doesn't. So my bard is dead here, but that's not a problem now because we have another yellow character in the fight here. So there's somebody else for the Gnolls to focus on. If my bard died and Flind was not in combat on our side, quote unquote, the fight would end and it would reset because I'm in hiding. So now the fight's going to continue. It's going to stay going throughout all of this. And I can try and make sneak attacks as best I can throughout this. So we're going to move up here. We're actually going to try and sneak attack this hyena if we can. Because I want to get Flind focused on them and not these stupid hyenas. Okay, so no resistances. Okay. I didn't want to have to do this, but that turned me invisible. There's those so dangerous multi-attacks. Yeah. Knew that was going to happen. I'm not going to resurrect my bard. They're going to kill her on the ground here, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to get my bard up onto the high ground here.
With finesse.
Or get Astarion up on the high ground here. Okay, and I'm not going to make an attack this round because I don't have my bonus action anymore. I want to be able to go into hiding at the end of each turn. If I make an attack now, I'm not in hiding, and these multi-attacking gnolls are just going to destroy Astarion. Right? You can see how dangerous they are. Okay, now I'm actually going to sacrifice Gale here as well.
Forthwith,
Okay, now this is going to get Gale killed. But what that does is causes damage on this turn. And then at the start of their turns, it's going to cause damage again. Because right now, if I don't kill them off, Flind is dead right now, and there's no damage done to any of these Gnoll Hunters at all. And that can be just as bad. Okay. That sucked them all into the cloud of daggers. Which is what I wanted. And now I'm going to cunning action hide here. And move back.
Quickly.
So this Gnoll Hunter's probably not in it, but these two are, and they might die from this. This one's going to survive. Might kill Flind on this next turn. I'm hoping Flind takes out the Gnoll Fang on this turn. Okay, and broke concentration, so... Okay, so we've got a problem here. Because Astarian's not going to be able to handle all of them. And this could very easily become a party wipe if I don't watch this. I want to kill. They're so close. They're so close, though. Let's deal with Astarian first. See if we can throw an alchemist fire down there. I can do that from here.
Let's go.
Okay, that gets rid of one. That puts me invisible again. And now I can dash. And get out of the way. They should not come running this way.
Keep them guessing.
If I can keep Lae'zel out of this, that's by far going to be the easiest. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, but I need to get rid of these two Gnoll Hunters. if I do that, then I don't have a problem bringing Lae'zel into this fight. At all. Okay, now this fight's not gonna end because Gale is still alive. He dashed. Okay, so now I'm gonna get another attack here. The Fleshnar and the Gnoll Fang. He's up top. Okay, so I am still invisible. However, if I walk through this acid, I think it's going to knock me out of invisibility. So let's go try and take care of the Gnoll here.
A better position.
Because this should still be a sneak attack. Outstanding. Now let's bring Lae'zel into this fight. Because I don't want this fight to end. Because Astarion's invisible. Because Gale's dead on this next turn. They are facing the wrong way. And I'm going after the Gnoll Fang. The Fleshnar doesn't have any special abilities. It's just one melee attack. The Gnoll Fang has abilities. Right now it's under Rampage. So it's got another bonus action and half of his movement speed whenever he downs something with a melee attack. And I just don't want to have anything special happening with him. He's got 9 hit points left, and I want to remove him from the field.
Dance macabre.
He's going next.
My patience wanes.
So we're going to execute. Outstanding. Probably gonna kill Gale. That's fine. That actually brings up something else good that we'll want to deal with. By having him dead. Because we're gonna get something really cool out of that. And this is gonna be out of range for Astarion no matter what, I'm sure, but...
Let's go.
Again.
Okay, so let's try and lock him in place here, but let's try and do a pommel strike first if we can. Perfect. That dropped his armor class to 13. It dropped a +2 off his armor class. So now we'll try and lock him in place. Outstanding. Well, action surge. Doesn't matter. He's got 1 hit point left. If we land it, we land
There's an
it.
illicit
Perfect.
parasite in that.
Well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep, and if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished. However, for reasons that cannot be disclosed, it is of vital importance that my death be remedied at your earliest convenience. You may rest assured that I do not speak out of self-preservation alone. Many lives depend on my return to the living within the span of 2 days. I trust I've made myself clear.
Okay, so during this conversation, you want to take notes. Okay? You're going to have to follow a set of instructions here, and you want to make sure that you have written down those instructions so that you can execute them properly. If you do, you're going to gain something very, very nice out of it at the end of it. So follow his instructions, write them down, and take notes as you're going.
I have upon my deceased person a magical item that can accomplish my return. But such is the value and rarity that it is protected by a multi-layered security protocol. I will now explain the protocol. Step 1 is to retrieve from my person a pouch I wear over my heart. Next, you must unthread the purple seam that seals it in a counterclockwise fashion. Do not touch any other colored strand. Inside the pouch, you will find a folded letter and a tiny flute. Unfold the letter and note the markings in the top and bottom corners. These are the notes you will need to play. Starting from the bottom right, play the notes in correct order, clockwise this time. Upon completion of the tune, a magma method will appear, which will pose the following question. Iskcha Chisnaga. This is Ignan for what is my name? The answer is Kasitrak Ash. Pronounce the name correctly, and the method will breathe on the letter. Stay clear, because the little scamp can melt metal. Words will now appear on the letter's surface, effectively turning the letter into a scroll of true resurrection. Use it to bring me back to life. So it is. Our lives depend on it. Now, repeat my instructions back to me, please.
Okay, now this is your opportunity, if you didn't take complete notes, to hear it again.
Humor me. I need to be absolutely certain you understand. And next?
Okay, so now you need the purple seam counterclockwise.
Right. You then have access to the letter and the flute. Go on.
You need to start from the bottom right corner.
Remember to play them clockwise. And after that?
And you need to remember clockwise. And then the only thing you need to remember about the method answer is the ending. It's Trakash. Nothing else is Trakash. Everything else starts somewhat differently, but Trakash is at the end.
Correct. But pay attention to the trak part. Ch is back of the throat. And so we have gone through the necessary steps again. It is gratifying to see your memory does not fail you. Best of luck with the protocol. May my cold, dead hands soon be refilled with the warmth of life so they can shake yours in gratitude.
Okay, so now I'm going to resurrect my bard.
By the gods.
Here in a second.
You're a sweet sight. Are any of my crew still alive out there? This whole journey's been one grim sight after another. Gnolls, goblins, drow.
Risen Road's more dangerous than ever. You're the first friendly face we've seen since Eltergard.
We're bound for Baldur's Gate. Got some cargo to deliver. But we've a stop to make along the way. Joaquin's Rest. It's just up the road. I'd be enjoying a mug of ale right now if those beasts hadn't jumped us. Listen, you look like you know how to handle yourself. You should meet my associates. We've got our own drinking spot by the tavern. Invitation only. Tell the fellow on the door. Little Serpent, Long Shadow. He'll take good care of you.
The rest of this conversation doesn't really matter. You're not going to have any checks that you need to make or anything like that, unless you are planning to take the chest for yourself or arrange to get gold out of it from Rugen. We are not going to.
Aye, the whole reason we're in this mess. Trinkets for some rich tosser in Baldur's Gate. He gets his shiny baubles. We get a handful of taranths.
Taranths are the currency of the Zhentarim, a network of merchants and mercenaries with few scruples.
You know who we are. Very clever. And you probably also know it's not smart to interfere with Zhent business. This is the point when a clever lad like you accepts my gratitude and walks away.
You know, now that I think about it, I really hope we got Lae'zel out away from Gale. We'll see here in a second. These two options you don't have to pursue, again, unless you are planning to take the chest by force or make a deal with Rugen. We are not going to. Okay. When Gale dies, you want to make sure if you have any party members near him that you get away, because he's got this necrotic aura around him. And that necrotic aura is going to, you're going to take 1d4 necrotic damage every turn while you're inside that aura. So want to make sure you get away from it. If that conversation starts, Astarian's going to be in conversation over here, but Lae'zel is not, so time is going to be ticking away during that conversation with Lae'zel, and she'll end up dying. It'll just kill her. Okay, so I am going to... bring some people back to life, and I'm going to start with my bard.
Take you.
Death's close at hand.
So now... acid doesn't cause damage. Okay, I'm going to stay away from Gale. And now I'm going to...
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Look in my inventory, because Gale's pouch is on Gale. Okay, so we're going to take his pouch and move it over here. You do not have to go into the necrotic aura to pick it up. Just open his inventory and pull it out. Save you the damage. And now we're going to open this pouch.
The pouch is sealed with differently colored strands of thread.
Okay, so we want to pull the purple thread in a counterclockwise fashion.
As the purple thread becomes undone, the pouch opens to reveal a letter and flute inside.
Okay, and the letter and the flute go into your inventory. So the next thing you want to do is read the letter. And you have to look at the letters here. And you start in the bottom right and you go clockwise. Okay, so the bottom right is a D, and you want to write these down. And if you're going clockwise from the bottom right, you go to the bottom left, which is an E. Then you go to the top left, which is an A. And then you go to the top right, which is another D. Now that spells out the word dead, which is very apt. And now you can play the flute.
This is the flute Gale kept on his person. A faint magical aura envelops its wooden surface.
Okay, so we're not going to skip the performance check here. It doesn't do anything. We're going to position your fingers on the flute, ready to play individual notes.
The flute awaits with bated breath.
Okay, so we're going to play a D. We're going to play an E. Another A. Or an A. And then another D. There's the method. Okay, now you, again, all you really need to remember, you don't need to write the whole thing down. Just remember Trakash is at the end, and that's the answer you want to give. You want to give him the letter?
Multhamesk. Tinu Frantha Manthra Gale.
And that's going to give you a scroll of true resurrection. Now, this is like Revivify, except when you saw me use Revivify, it brought me back to 1 hit point. True resurrection brings you back to life with all of your hit points. So it can be very, very useful in a fight, especially, to bring back somebody that that this will bring them all the way back into the fight. Okay? Now the question, I don't know. Is because Gale wants you to use this on him to bring him back. I don't know if I need to. I'm gonna be looking here and see if instead I could use, because the Scroll of True Resurrection is very powerful. I prefer it not to just use it to resurrect Gale here. So, does anybody know if using just a regular Revivify scroll is going to break this in some way? Because I could use a scroll of Revivify, or I could take him back to Withers and do it. I don't think I need to use it either. So, one way or another,
At the ready.
I think it's probably worth it just to try it out. So, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use just a regular scroll of Revivify on Gale, because the True Resurrection scroll is way too valuable. Make sure you resurrect him out here somewhere.
I cannot die. Please help me.
Okay, good.
My word, you did it. Oh, it's good to be alive. My hands are still cold, so that handshake will have to wait, but in the meantime, thank you. Oh, it's a relief to be back on beautiful Faerun. The dreariness of the fugue plane oppresses one's soul so very quickly. That said, I assume you have some questions for me. Only fair to warn you I've precious few answers to spare. I apologize if that sounds thankless, it's just that some secrets simply cannot be revealed.
I'm just trying to fail these, chat. Of course he looks a little rough. If you were just brought back from the dead, you'd look a little rough too, I think.
I suppose that after all you've done for me, I should be at least a little bit forthcoming. Tell you what, I will answer one question that you may have, to the best of my ability, if I can.
However, his sacrifice is what allowed that encounter to succeed. Because if he didn't, then those Gnoll hunters would not have died. They took a lot of damage from the Cloud of Daggers before he died, so his sacrifice was in the best interests of the survival of the party on Honor Mode, so I salute his sacrifice for the great thing that it was.
When I told you I need powerful magic to keep my condition under control, I didn't tell you why. Well, here's part of the why. I am dangerous. Not because I want to be, but because of an error I made in the past. It makes me dangerous, even in death. You brought me back to life, and for that I am in your debt. But we're surrounded by danger. It could happen again. If it does, bring me back again. You must, for the sake of many.
Okay, so that's a quest in case of death that you don't see very often. A lot of people have never seen it in their playthroughs. But it's really fun to see new things like that. It also gets you access to a scroll of true resurrection, which is amazingly powerful, especially on honor mode, to be able to bring somebody back. Bringing somebody back with 1 hit point, depending upon their position in the initiative order, may not serve any purpose at all. They may just get killed again. However, bringing them back with all of their hit points is incredibly valuable. So having this scroll on you in honor mode is a great thing to have. The other thing that you can do is, Lord Henry said it a while ago in the chat, in that some people have used Gale as a build. And what he means by that is picking up Gale's dead body while it has the necrotic aura around it, and using that as a source of damage while you go. Gale said that he needed to be resurrected within 2 days. As long as you don't long rest twice, you can use Gale all you want. Now, there are things that necrotic aura is going to be damaging you while Gale's in your inventory. However, you can negate that with certain items that you get in Act 2. So if you go through and wait to do this until Act 2, you can physically kill Gale yourself. Pick up his body and use it to make your way through certain encounters in certain areas while you still have Gale on you. And there are YouTube videos of people that have done just that. There's also another necrotic aura dead body with a much more powerful version of necrotic aura that you can pick up in Act 3, which you can do something very similar with, except that necrotic aura does not damage you while you have it in your inventory. So there's some pretty interesting things that you can get up to with dead bodies with a necrotic aura, and those are the only 2 that I know of in the game. So we are definitely going to take a short rest here. We're going to be taking another long rest. We have plenty of camp supplies, and we don't want to get into something coming up without having a full set of our action economy available to us, because it, again, it's not nearly as dangerous as this, I will say. But it still can go very badly, very quickly, and I don't want to be caught unprepared. So we're going to do some searching of the gnolls out here. You want to pick up every hyena ear, you can, because these are used to craft potions of speed. We're going to combine this with a transmutation wizard so that we can craft multiple potions of speed out of one set of ingredients.
Might be useful.
But this is a great source to get all of these hyena ears.
Something good here.
That you can use for crafting. Now we're gonna talk to Flind here. Actually, I can't remember if you can talk to him or not. We're gonna pick up the hyena ears, get this one last crafting supply here. And I left the necklace on Shadowheart. That's perfectly fine. Because I can bring Shadowheart back in here in place of Gale now.
Good time for a chat.
Because we've got a bit.
Shah's blessings upon you. A bit crowded, don't you think? Lead the way then.
Okay. So we're going to bring Shadowheart back in here. Just for walking around purposes.
My faith protects.
She's got the Amulet of Lost Voices.
The corpse remains silent.
Okay. We still want to have it active.
No one stopped me
Speak with
yet.
the Dead active, so it highlights the corpses. So now we can search Flind. This is the Shattered Flail. So hitting an enemy with this weapon heals the wielder for 1d6 hit points. Really nice. But they can go mad if they don't continue hitting an enemy each turn. Now, mad means that you can go hostile to everyone in the vicinity. It's a condition, so if you are near, if you have other party members near the wielder, and they miss an attack and they can't cast damage, or they can't cause damage with it in a turn, and they go mad, they could turn on you. Which can be bad. However, it is a very, very interesting weapon, especially if you can combine this with being able to gain advantage on your attacks in some way, because healing yourself for 1d6 is huge. It's massive. And being a 1d6 flail, which is a mace, you can use this with a shield. It's also a +2 weapon in and of itself, which is really, really nice. So I've seen some very interesting gameplay with this. And it can be really, really interesting. It does come with a concussive smash, which means you can possibly daze your target once per short rest, which is also very useful for making sure that you can hit better. So you'd use daze on your first attack where you might have advantage, and that would make it easier to hit them and cause damage with the flail and keep that madness away every turn after that. So can be very, very useful. He also has our third Mind Flayer Parasite specimen.
This one is a true soul parasite. It can enhance you. You can absorb its potential. Open your mind to it. You already know how.
Okay, so the cutscene that we had during our long rest allows you to interact with the tadpoles now. As soon as you either pick up the first one or you right-click on one in your inventory that you already have and say consume, it won't actually consume it. It will start this cutscene. And we are definitely going to do this here. We're going to open our mind to it.
Your mind swells subsumes everything the tadpole has to offer. Everything it was and everything it was destined to be. Pure potential. Pure power.
Good. You have grown your power and improved your chances of survival.
Okay, and that's all part of the Embrace Your Potential questline. Okay. Now, that didn't actually use my tadpole. You can see we have 3 of them, but it opened up our lithid powers, which we're going to do as soon as we talk to Gale.
So, you've indulged. Just helped yourself to a little more power, I see. And there isn't a tentacle to be seen. Not a bad deal, I'd say. My only complaint is that you didn't want to share. I wouldn't mind indulging myself. Excellent. I'll have a rummage around and help myself in my own good time. Thank you. Your generosity is appreciated.
Okay, so my 3 tadpoles here. Let's open up our lithid powers. So this is for me. So for a bard, favorable beginnings is incredibly useful. The first time that I have a conversation with somebody and have to do an ability check, I'm going to add my proficiency bonus on top of any other bonuses that I already have. So I definitely want to put in favorable beginnings for my bard. I could go immediately to Luck of the Far Realms, however, my bard right now isn't really the main beneficiary of damage output. She's not the one that is putting out a lot of damage, so a critical hit from her isn't necessarily the best placement for that. The best placement at this source, at this spot in the game, is actually from Astarion. You would think it's from Lae'zel, and that would be true if Lae'zel can hit. Now, the problem, especially if you saw it during that encounter, is that even with Lae'zel coming out of hiding, her hit chance against the Gnolls there was like 65%. It's going to drop down to something like 55% when she loses that advantage. Against some of the enemies that you're going to encounter here in Act 1, she's not a very reliable source of being able to hit. And unless you do something to overcome that, she doesn't have a lot of sources in early game of getting advantage. So in this case, there are 2 better people that it is, or 2 people is better served on. The first is Astarion. Astarion can get advantage almost any time he wants just by hiding. In that case, he's going to be adding sneak attack damage to that attack. If I cause it to be a crit, he not only crits on his base roll, but also on the sneak attack damage roll. So critical hits with him become very, very useful. So he's the first one. The second one is actually with Karlach. Karlach can gain advantage from her reckless attack, and in that sense, it makes it much easier for her to hit, and she can hit really hard when she's doing that reckless attack. So the advantage of making that a crit can be very, very useful. We are going to be exploring Karlach a lot more in this playthrough. We're going to bring her into our party. But for now, I'm actually going to spend these on Astarion. So I'm going to give him favorable beginnings, which is again very nice for him, because that first attack roll, he's going to gain his proficiency bonus, which is +2 right now, to that attack. Makes it even more likely to land, plus he's going to have advantage most of the time because he is in hiding. And then if that attack lands, I can trigger Luck of the Far Realms to make it a crit. This allows his first round Nova damage number to increase quite significantly. And I don't have to convince him to take it. He wants those powers. Okay, so now what I do need to make sure with Astarion...
Don't touch me.
Luck of the Far Realms is automatically marked as an ask reaction, which is good. You want to make sure that it's always marked as ask.
All right.
You want to be able to
Time to press ahead.
manually trigger that whenever it best suits you and not waste it. So let's do some final searching here. And you get Speedy Reply. Speedy Reply is when the wielder hits an enemy with this weapon, they gain momentum for 2 turns. Now, this can be very useful in a few different instances. Right now, we are using the Haste Helm, so Astarion's going to get momentum for 3 turns at the start of combat anyway. I have just a regular scimitar on my Bard, so I'm going to add it here. So if I can land an attack with it, I'm going to gain momentum for 2 turns. Again, allows me to maneuver around the battlefield a lot easier.
What's in here?
And now, the benefit of going to, or waiting a while, I should say, after this is done. If you come into here immediately after the combat is finished, Rugen and Oskar are still in here, and all of these alchemist fires are marked as steel. After a while, they're going to disappear. They're going to head off, and they're going to take the chest that was sitting here with them, and when they do, nothing in here is marked as steel anymore. So now we can replenish all of our stocks of alchemist fire that we used one of those in this encounter. And we can make our way up here.
Just another crate.
Again, honor mode, so we're going to be picking up everything that we can find. That includes this heavy crossbow that's kind of hidden here. Now we're going to make our way over to this spot. Now, sometimes I can get this to work, sometimes I can't.
Onward.
So we're going to have Lae'zel come over here and search. And she's going to pick up the wooden trunk. Going to immediately take that wooden trunk, and I'm going to give it to Astarion.
Well, hello.
Astarion is going to drop that wooden trunk on the ground. Here. Now I'm going to attempt to jump Lae'zel back. This could be kind of tricky. I'm going to move way out here to the edge of this. And yes, now I can make it back. So I don't have to use Misty Step or anything like that on this. He's got Mark of the Shifter. He's got the Gloves of Power.
Easy.
Only a 5 DC. But you can see we're stacking up some good things here. This is without guidance. So if I do add guidance in here, we're up to, what is this, 8 different or 7 different additives onto this. Oh, jeez. How many 2s have we rolled? Isn't that like our 3rd 2? That? Oh boy, it is Saturday. It is definitely Saturday.
Pull yourself together.
This is weird.
Assume nothing.
Where's Astarion? Am I missing something? He was not in the list. Strange. Okay, and now we'll make our way back here, and we're going to break our group again, actually. I'm gonna make my way over here first.
Been through.
And I got rid of Mark of the Shifter on myself. And I shouldn't have.
Let's get on with it. This way.
Hey, Rudy, welcome. Oh, boy.
Trust me.
Okay.
Can't give up now.
I figured she would pass that check, so I didn't give her Mark of the Shifter.
Watch the
But I probably should have. Okay, there it is.
Someone's left a trap out for us.
Now you can pick this up and move it out of the way, as opposed to jumping across it. Sometimes jumping across it will cause this thing to bug out and trigger it. Whole lot of things in the lineup. All right, now we can do our searching.
Never a dull moment.
Thanks, Rudy. It was a good fight. It was stressful. It would have been a lot easier if the conversation with Flind would have happened at the start. My bard wouldn't have been so exposed, and I'd have been able to get her out of the way and not sacrifice her like I had to. But it all worked out. And that is something that probably brings up a good point that, while I was mentioning that, I should probably say, Honor Mode is not about your individual characters. Okay? That's something that is much different from your regular playthroughs. And you're focused on keeping everybody alive in your regular playthroughs for the most part. Honor Mode, you need to think differently about your individual characters. It's not about keeping your individual characters alive. It's about keeping the entire party from wiping. And if that means that you're going to sacrifice a character, that's what you need to do. This is very much a chess game, and you are going to have to sacrifice bishops, rooks, sometimes even queens, to be able to make it through this sometimes. So you need to think of your characters as pieces to be utilized for the greater good. It's hard to do sometimes when you're doing these playthroughs, but it's very necessary. Gale there was a perfect example. I knew he was going to die as soon as I brought him into that combat, but he needed to get that damage out. He absolutely needed to get it out. I would not have survived that encounter if he did not do that. And that's the stuff you have to think about in your head
Open up.
when you're going through an honor mode run.
On my way.
And that is very true. That is absolutely true, Lord Henry. If you have permanent buffs that you have gained, you can lose some of those when you die. And it's certainly something to take into account when you're deciding who needs to be sacrificed to make sure that your party advances and stays in it.
Maybe I need
However,
more
at the end of the day, if those permanent buffs being lost is the trade-off for being able to survive an encounter and not have a party wipe, then that's just what you need to do. It's a lot different way of thinking about how to do a playthrough when you've decided to do an honor mode run. There's a Starian in the list again. Okay, so now we're going to clean this up. Real quick. Okay. Put these away. Okay, and the Shattered Flail I'm going to send to camp. And last thing I forgot to do is send off my camp supplies. So I'm not carrying all of this weight around. Okay. So now we finished in here. There's only a couple of more things that I want to do. And that has to do with down here. There are some fire wine barrels I want to pick up and send to camp. Okay, that gives me Mark of the Shifter. Okay, there's one. Okay, and now we'll bring a Starian over here.
I bite.
To disarm this for me.
Someone there.
And maybe perceive the next one.
Traps.
Perfect.
How considerate.
Rolling 31s at level 4. Gotta like that.
A little souvenir.
Okay. And all of those things are what I call possibly useful. There may be encounters here where I want to utilize Barrelmancy, and I want to have that option available to me.
How many die today? How many die tomorrow?
Okay, so we'll bring everybody back together. Hopefully they make that jump okay.
Pave my path with corpses. Build my castle with bones.
couple of more things to pick up right here at the entrance. And now we have cleared out this area. We can head up here. This is just a another way into that cave system back here, so we don't have to go up there, but we certainly will. And we're going to head down here and talk to Karlach. And for that, we are going to head back to camp. We're going to bring Will into our party just for this conversation.
Gone gods. Watching you consume that tadpole was more disgusting than the tadpole itself. Though, I suppose that's not what you wanted to talk about. Sorry, but there's no room for me. Ready and willing. Laser.
Now, before we go do this,
just for the sake of it.
There is a new method
I have performed deeds well and efficiently.
of
Is this what you mean?
getting hornless Will
Not exactly.
with
You answered my question.
being able to recruit Karlach. And I just want to make sure that I got that last balsam up there. I did. Did I not get the one over here? Oh, there's still a couple of things to search here.
I'll take that.
Killed a few giant bats in my day, Astarion. But
I
never
think there's
hunted a
another
vampire.
balsam right there. Yep, there is.
Just to remind you, I'm merely a sport.
Okay. So, as I was saying, there is a new way
If you want a true
after patch 6 to recruit Karlach and still have Will be hornless. It takes a long time to do it, to make it work, and it's not something that I really want to explore
How
here.
is the rat diet going?
When it was previously much
It may
easier,
soon come to an end if you don't shut your
where you
mouth.
could kill Karlach, go talk to Mazora, and then resurrect Karlach afterward. So you got the infernal robe and you got Karlach in your as a party member. That was easy to do. This new one is not, ever since Larian tried to patch that out. And we're not going to go through that. We just aren't. So we're going to play this the normal way, quote unquote. But before we go talk to Karlach, we want to go in and talk to the Paladins inside the Toll House. And the reason we're going to do that is because if you talk to Karlach first, then any conversation you have with the Paladins is going to be immediately hostile.
Do you always need to be the center of attention?
And we don't want it to be that way. We want to interact with them first. We can play out the Karlach encounter the same way. What is happening here? Okay, this knoll is glitched. Okay, there it's working. Okay, so we can play out the encounter with Karlach the same, whether we have have any conversations with them up front or not.
Anything of use?
But what having a conversation with them up front does is it allows you to open up and utilize a trader up here if you would like. She normally doesn't have all that great a gear, but you won't have an opportunity to trade with her if you go talk to Karlach first. So we want to look and see what she has before we go talk to Karlach. Okay, the burrow hole here allows you access to the toll house basement without finding the key.
I'm feeling a bit parched and peckish.
So we're going to continue searching out front here and across the bridge to the south.
I'm afraid you'll have to content yourself with vagrant chickens.
Because there's more gnolls over here.
Whatever killed those gnolls might be nearby. Careful.
And definitely more crafting supplies for potions of speed over here as well. Okay, so we're going to move some of these items. My shift-click skills are bad today, and I finally encountered that bug. I was wondering when I was going to get it. Yep. What I'm talking about is this. Doesn't happen every time, but once it happens, it always happens for the remainder of your session. If you select multiple things, you drag them into somebody else's bag, not their inventory. Their inventory, it's all going to move. But if I take these items and I drag it to a pouch, it leaves the first thing in line in your inventory. It doesn't move it. And then that thing is permanently stuck until you move it to their inventory and then put it away. I have no idea what's causing it, but see, now single items are going to be permanently, are going to be broken like that. They're not permanent. It'll reset when you do your next playthrough or your next session. So when you restart your game, it'll be back to normal. But yeah, it's annoying. It's super annoying. And I'm going to start keeping a candle on everybody, because now that's going to start becoming much more useful as I go through this. So we've got one last set of stuff to search over here. So let's do our last set of pickups, because we're going to have access to a vendor here in a bit. So we're going to be able to sell all of these things off really quickly. The old familiar ring around the rosy with searching inside stuff. All of this, you remember, we've searched all of this. We haven't searched this. Okay, well, we want to search this here real quick and pick up all of these things. We'll search the wicker basket first. After you have finished Joaquin's Rest and the searching here and the searching inside where we're going to go here in a second, you should be good on camp supplies for an honor mode run. It's only the first few long rests that can possibly be a problem. Yeah, Gale's pouch. What he means is Gale's pouch here. It's a nice specific thing for Gale to have, which you can utilize to store all sorts of stuff from him in it. I use it normally in my playthroughs to store other things like rings and that sort of stuff, to keep all in one spot in my inventory. And if I need a ring, I can just open it up and click and see what I've got. But yeah, there's a bunch of different uses for it. Okay, so we're going to make our way down here. And we're not going to go near Karlach. We just want to open this up. Okay, because we want to get the toll collector's key over here. It's lying on the ground. If you forget to use left alt, then the toll collector here, you can search him. You can speak with the dead on him, and he will tell you that he dropped the key when he jumped to safety up here. Actually, let's... Yeah, we can go up here. This is fine. Search these last two things outside, and then we're going to head in. We're going to talk to Anders. And just to be on the safe side here.
Subtle steps.
This is honor mode, after all.
Mind, never quiet.
Just in case something goes drastically wrong here with this conversation, because I was down somewhere near Karlach. I didn't talk to her, so nothing should be different here.
Who's there? Please, keep your distance. You're welcome to shelter here, but we've grave injuries to tend to. A devil, the most deadly foe we've yet encountered. We are Paladins of Tyr, Lord of Justice. He sent us after an infernal being, straight out of the Nine Hells, hiding in the form of a one-horned tiefling. She slaughtered countless refugees fleeing the Absolute. Yesterday, she butchered an entire family without mercy. We were lucky to survive our encounter with her. She ran toward the river when she saw we were merely wounded, not dead. Down the hill from here. She must pay for her crimes. If you capture her, you will have served Tyr where we could not. This is the sword of justice, blessed by Tyr. I've wielded it since I swore my oath. It's all I have, but it's yours if you stop her. Bring me her head, and Tyr will consider her crimes repaid. May the just God guide you.
Okay, now you can go in here and pick up a bunch of stuff. We're not necessarily going to. We just want to go in here and talk to Cyril.
Need any supplies? We've fewer mouths to feed now.
2. Both stalwarts of Tyr, sworn to uphold justice.
The Lord of Justice sent us after a devil haunting this area. We squared off against her. We lost. Talk to Anders if you want the details. I don't have it in me to recount the horror.
Okay, now again, she normally doesn't have all that great of stuff. But I do want to look through here because there are items that I possibly want to pick up. So I didn't have any arrows of fire left during that encounter, so I'm going to pick up all of these arrows from her. I'm not going to bother upping her attitude. I'm not spending enough gold. Remember, the break-even point is approximately 4 times the value. So if the value to raise her attitude at level 1 is 400, I need to buy 1,600 gold worth to make it worthwhile. I'm not going to buy nearly that much while I'm here, but I am going to pick up some stuff while I'm in here. And one of them is a smoke powder bomb. this would have finished off the Gnolls probably during that encounter that I had previously, so I want to make sure that I stock up on as many of these as I can as I get them. Glorious Vaulting and Featherfall I'm not going to need. Melf's Acid Arrow I'm not going to. Scrolls of Revivify are expensive. They're 220 gold a piece at a vendor that you have not raised attitude with. It's 200 to give to Withers to resurrect them, so it's not worth buying these unless you're getting it from a vendor who you've lowered their attitude, and then stock up on them that way. So I'm not going to buy these from her. I don't think I need the potions of healing either. And I'm not going to sell any of my stuff to balance out this offer. I want to be able to sell that to somebody else who I've raised their attitude and I get better prices for it. The milk cans and stuff like that, I'm not going to get a better price for. As at 1 gold, it's not going to split or get it higher than that. But some of the other things I've got, I can get better prices, and I don't want to waste that.
In Tia's name.
Okay, so for the rest of this, I'm going to want to search all of this in here. There's a reason for that, and that's because I plan on recruiting Karlach. And when you have Karlach in your party, and you have this fight here, after it's done, Karlach is pissed off. And she will run around, she will get a condition in which she will run around this entire building for 10 turns, I think. And she will just slash everything. She would just beat up everything. All the chests, all of the crates, all of the sacks, everything. And normally when you do this fight, you want to give Karlach one of the best two-handed weapons you have, and that's the Everburn Blade. And that means everything she hits catches on fire. And this whole place just, all of these crates just burn to the ground. And when they do, it can destroy some of the items that are in here. So I want to make sure I loot all of this before I end up having this fight. Because Karlach will just end up ruining half of it when she goes on her rampage. Okay, so I know, not the most exciting gameplay, but it is what it is. You're going to see a lot of this in honor mode, folks. We do not need to loot downstairs, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to loot everything else that I can.
More for me.
Hang around the rosy again. There's not a whole lot here. She doesn't climb the ladders, I don't believe, so I don't think I need to search upstairs. The cauldrons are way too heavy to carry around for the 1 gold you get for them, so I don't pick those up. But almost everything else gets picked up. And let's drag some of this around. There's Lae'zel's bug again. I don't need those thieves' tools. Astarion already has a bunch. So all of this is probably going to overload. Nope, it didn't. Good. Yeah. Yeah, she can do a lot of damage, especially if you give her the Everburn blade. She can really go to town on this whole place.
Alright. Time to skulk about.
Okay, so now just to open up and look, Omelum, we just got that because we ventured down into the Underdark. We'll deal with that much later. This we opened up because we rescued Counselor Floric, and this also opened up because of that. We need to meet Saza at inside the camp. We've already had her give us access, but we need to go talk to her. Again, the trail that was opened up for the Night Song, talking to the adventurers inside the Druid Grove. Find the mission shipment is where we're going to go now. Okay, and we did complete his In Case of Death quest for Gale. So to do that, we're going to head over to Joaquin's Rest. We have a new quest marker over here that gives you the location.
Teach us care when we would be reckless. Teach us certainty
These boots
when
have
we would
seen
have
everything.
doubt. So it is spoken, and so is it done. Great guard helm, allow us peace in this plane
And this can
beyond.
get very stupid with the pathfinding, almost like that.
When we would have doubt. So it is spoken.
They will just love to walk through the fire over here.
Watch your back.
Yep, just like that. Ooh. Larian, please.
Let's move.
Larian. Please.
Heading out.
Action, not reaction.
It's just so... It's so dumb. It's so
I have such a headache.
It's so
Mind my
dumb.
step. Let's have a look. This is the spot Rugen marked. Doesn't look like much.
You spot a man crouching between the shelves, just as he spots you.
Bugger! Oh, helm dwarfs! I thought you were Flaming Fist. Well, down you go then. They'll be on us soon, so if you're looking to trade, you best be quick. Entrance is hidden behind the wardrobe. Here's the key.
Okay, so we get the engraved key for that. And,
Careful,
you know, probably 9 out of the 10 problems that I have with the pathing in this Philip is due to the characters trying to keep this stupid diamond formation that they have. I get that the formation thing probably needs to happen, but in the previous Baldur's Gate games, you could choose what you wanted that formation to be. You could have them in a straight line, front to back. You could have them in a straight line, side to side. You could have them in an echelon, a V-shaped formation. You could have them in this diamond formation. You could have them in a bunch of different ways that would help minimize those types of problems. And it also, as soon as you clicked to go somewhere, it showed you not only the white circle, like in hiding,
just like
the white circle of where you're going to land, it showed you the white circles of where all your other party members were going to land. So you could instantly tell as soon as you clicked whether somebody was going to end up in a problem location, and you could fix it before they got there. I'm almost tired of harping on it because it seems like it's every week we see another evidence of it. It was just something that was so overlooked by Larian, and it drives me crazy that it was. So here is our last set of searching that we're going to do before we head down. And I promise we are going to get into a fight. Just be patient while we do this one last bit of searching, because we're going to go downstairs and we're going to sell all of this stuff off. And then we're going to head out and we're going to go talk to Karlach and recruit her, and then get into a fight with those supposed paladins. Okay, and there's going to be a bit of searching to do here at the start. We're not going to search the Zhentarim Hideout because we don't need to. Most of that stuff is marked as steal, and we're not going to go in there and start stealing stuff. But I do want to open up the trader down here, because we are going to increase his attitude with us. And we're going to be able to sell all of this stuff off after we've done it, because he has some really good items that we want to look at. Yes, I'm absolutely going to raise his attitude, Lord Henry. Just because of the amount of stuff I'm going to buy. I don't necessarily need to buy all of the stuff that he has for sale up there, and I'll commentate on that a little bit when I get there. But this gives me a... It's going to be right about the break-even point with him. So I'm not going to be saving a lot, but I am going to be saving some. So I'm going to do it. But you definitely want to come to Brem, because he sells one of the most important items in the game for your rogue class characters, and you do not want to miss it. He also sells one of the best bows in the game, depending upon your build and whether or not you know how to use it. So we are also going to pick that up. Okay, and the rest of this stuff... and I'll go into Astarian's trash bag. And we'll head down the hatch. You do not meet him again in Act 3 that I'm aware of. No. But again, as long as you are buying 1,600 gold worth of items, then it makes sense. You're going to save money by spending the 400 to raise their attitude. Again, here's what I mentioned a little bit earlier about searching the Zhentarim Hideout. After you've finished down here, you're going to gain a lot of camp supplies. So once you've picked all of these up...
Looks empty.
You are not going to need to worry about camp supplies for the rest of your honor mode run. Now that is a fairly broad statement, because you're going to be picking up... You're going to have a lot of long rests in honor mode. but you're also going to be picking up a lot more camp supplies. But here, this kind of alleviates the pressure right up front. I think I've got enough for something like 20 long rests right now, and that's probably more than enough, or that's probably enough to take me through most of the rest of the game at this point.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay, not that much searching left to do here. People always ask me, why do you search every crate? This is part of the reason why. We don't need this engraved key, but this key was given to us upstairs. However, if you play that encounter out differently, then the key is here, and it's just randomly hidden in one of these crates. Will. Randomly hidden in one of these crates, and you would never know that it's there. Now we're going to read this one, because this is actually related to us. An upstart smuggler named Enver Gortash has been making on the illicit arms trade in the Keonthar Valley through inroads. Annexation would be more apt. The former black market leaders, the Knights of the Shield, we're going to learn more about later, the Zhentarim, have largely been supplanted by Gortash's operation. He bears watching closely. So you can start to see how Gortash got to be who he is. Most of it was through illicit smuggling and things like that. That's how he got his money to buy his way into the Patriarchy inside of Baldur's Gate. Bring around the rosy. And you see everybody trying to keep that formation. As you turn, as you reorient your character, they try and keep that formation around you. See, they're trying to stay behind me. It just causes so many stupid problems. It doesn't need to be there. Okay, so I think this is going to be the last time, and there's the bug again, this time with Astarion. So they are locked in place. Okay, so we'll head in here. So inside the Zhentarim Hideout here, there's just one last set of camp supplies that we're going to be able to pick up here. Here and here. But as we approach through this, we're going to have a conversation.
That's far enough. What's your business down here? Answer honestly and maybe we'll kill you clean.
Hold on, that's the lass who saved us from the Gnolls. Let her in.
You revealed our location. That tongue gets any looser, Rugen, I'll cut it out. Come down then. Seems you're a friend of the family.
That illustrates a fairly important point as well, in that it doesn't matter if you're disguised selfed or shapeshifted. When you have this conversation, it doesn't matter if you're the same appearance as you were when you rescued Rugen, because I was not. I did not have the mark of the shifter when I did that. It doesn't matter. The conversation doesn't change. They recognize you as the one who saved him. Okay, so last thing I need to do here is get rid of all of these camp supplies. Now we'll head down. Now here it doesn't matter if you pass any of these perception checks. They're pretty hard. I believe they're DC 20s. Whoops.
What's that, son? What's that?
DC 15s. Yeah, there's a DC 20. So yeah, I knew they were pretty hard while you're coming down here. But you don't have to pass any of those checks. First thing you want to do when you get down here, though, is go talk to Zarys up here.
Don't want open flames where we're going.
Don't want to do anything until you talk to her.
I owe you one for saving my people. The Zhentarim look out for their own, even if it's Rugen. That's worth some coin. And my thanks. Our trader can show you some of our more exotic items now, but don't delay. This place is likely to be rubble soon. Someone kidnapped a duke, right on our bloody doorstep. The Flaming Fist will need someone to blame. I don't plan on it being us.
Okay, and she's going to give you Herald. Herald is really good for your fighter-based or your martial-based characters. When you deal damage with it, it must succeed a charisma saving throw or be baned for 2 turns. Now, a lot of the enemies you're going to meet do not have high charisma. So giving them the bane condition, which again means they have a 1d4 penalty to attack rolls and saving throws, is very, very good. Again, allows you to land your spells a lot better, as well as hampering them
drink
attacking.
I promised we'll have to wait. We're moving out. The elf song's my local. Look me up if you're in the city.
And we will.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Good to see you. Killed any more beasts out there?
Okay, so now we're going to head down and we're going to have an interaction with Brem here. We want to make sure that we have Mark the Shifter active. And again, we have favorable beginnings here.
Turns out he needs his eyes. Well, don't you cut a fine figure? Want your portrait done? If you have the gold, my pet artist will make you a most heroical likeness. Let's say we're his patrons, yeah? Found him wandering the wilds alone. He needs protection. And if his paintings cover our costs, so much the better, eh? Are you looking to buy him? I'm open to offers, mate. Threats, not so much.
Okay, now you can buy him. I'm going to try the persuasion option because now you can see that we have favorable beginnings added into this. We've got Mark of the Shifter added in, and we have proficiency and expertise. Now, this is not an easy check to make. Okay. But even without guidance, we're over a 50-50 shot here. I'm going to add in guidance. If I use advantage from friends here, as soon as it wears off, his attitude will drop. And that will make it harder for me to raise his attitude. I'll have to pay more to raise his attitude because it won't be 0, it'll be negative once that happens. So I don't want to cast friends on him. I can, however, use enhance ability here. So I'm going to add in advantage, and I'm going to have Will cast guidance on me to add this in. So now I've got advantage, and I've got 12 to 18 worth of bonuses here. So I need to roll an 8 out of 2 dice. Thank goodness for advantage.
These artsy tossers always have friends in high places. That's why they're valuable. But, yeah, might be we've drawn enough attention to this place. Take the money, bastard. If he means that much to you. That his crap would sell anyway.
Okay, and now we can go talk to the object of that, who's Oskar Fevras here.
I can't say I've ever been bought before. How much did I fetch? No, don't tell me. There's nothing so depressing as learning one's true value. Well, you should at least know what you've paid for. I am the Oskar Fevras, at your service. A genuine pleasure. I'm in your debt, as is my patron. My betrothed, I should say. Assuming Lady Janeth still wishes to marry me after our little, falling out.
You recall a recent scandal. A patriarch of Baldur's Gate who wished to marry a commoner.
I did not run away. A date was never set. There were complications. Before my fame, my patron, there was another woman. One I planned to spend my life with. But when Lady Janeth offered me a future, well, it felt only right to mention my past. Right, but unwise. I was forced to retreat into the countryside, to paint and to clear my head. To choose, I suppose. Oh, absolutely none. Fame and wealth suit me very well, no doubt. And yet, I think of that first love, and I hesitate. Likely I'm going mad. Regardless, we have more immediate concerns. Your reward once I've returned to the city, for one. Say, I don't suppose you could spare some coin, could you? Ease the discomforts of the road some.
Okay, now, if you've played through this game before, you're doing role-playing of any type, you probably wouldn't free Oskar to begin with. I'll just say that, without any spoilers. But I am not going to give him any money here. The money, he just uses it to get drunk with on his way back to Baldur's Gate. So I'm not going to give him anything for this. The only reason I'm playing this out is so that, again, you can see how it plays out later on. But yeah, it's not great.
Right you are. Just asking for a little help, was all. Until Baldur's Gate, then.
Okay, and now I am going to head to camp. I'm going to get Astarion to check on, and I hate this camp, by the way. I'm going to get Astarion, take a look at Withers here, and see if I have any gold in Withers inventory or not.
Neither seen nor heard.
I do not.
No one back home.
So I'm going to change my class.
Thy wheel of fate dost thou require a new, as thou desire.
I'm going to stay a bard. Everything about my bard remains the same as it was previously, so I don't need to do anything. And now I can get Astarion back here, and again, here's why I hate this camp. Because Astarion's stuck up on a hill, he has to walk all the way around. And I'm also in view of two different NPCs here.
Let's keep to the shadows.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna do one more attempt at this. Okay. Because I've kind of slightly figured out what caused my entire camp to go hostile toward Astarion when I was stealing from Withers. If you do it within the detection cones of other party members, that's when I got it to trigger. I don't know why, but that's the only time I got it to trigger. But yeah, I had Lae'zel just destroy me. Because she saw me pickpocket him, and I failed, like, I think I failed 3 times or 4 times, and after I did it, she went hostile. So now I'm going to talk to Brem. I'm not shapeshifted anymore. I'm not disguised selfed. I'm going to talk to Brem.
Well, don't you cut a fine figure? Want your portrait done? If you have the gold, my pet artist will make you a most heroical likeness. Follow the whining.
Okay, now this is only because I'm not shapeshifted, but he's gone.
Of course. Got some interesting stock for a friend of the family.
So now we're not going to look at his inventory yet. His attitude is at 0, so at level 1. 400 gold's going to get him up to 100. I don't want to buy anything from him yet. I want to do my level up, because this is going to up my persuasion, which lowers the prices. For my spell, it doesn't matter. I'm going to replace it later. Level 3, make sure you do not forget your skills. So before you leave this screen, add in your skills. On remove performance, put persuasion in, perception, survival, and acrobatics. My college is College of Swords. My fighting style is dueling. For my spells here, I'm going to select enhance ability, and then I'm going to replace a spell. I'm going to add invisibility in and remove the spell that I'd previously chosen. And now my feat, I'm going to choose ability improvement because, again, that ups my charisma to 4. So that increases my persuasion when I do it. For my cantrip, none of this, the cantrips don't really matter at this point. And for my last spell here, I'm going to pick Hold Person. I don't need to replace anything out of what I've got. All of those are very useful. Hold Person works against humanoids, and goblins are humanoids, but humans are also humanoids. So let's be very careful when we click on Brem here.
Something I can help you with?
So we're not picking up something stolen.
Of course. Got some interesting stock for a friend of the family.
And now here, this top row is really what you're looking at. For the most part. There is something else we are always going to buy from Brem while we're here. You get Giant Breaker. Giant Breaker, if you hit, it sends your target reeling. This, just like Herald, is a heavy crossbow. So they're doing the same damage. A reeling target has a -1 penalty to attack rolls for every turn remaining. So when you hit, it's going to give them a -2 to hit. You can add that in again the next turn and add 2 more turns, and 1 turn has disappeared, so we're for a total of 3, so now he's got a -3 to hit. So this is really on par with the Bane effect from Herald. The only difference is that Giant Breaker only works on their ability to hit you on their attack rolls, whereas Herald works on their ability to attack you with their hit rolls as well as their saving throws. So Herald is a bit better. However, situationally they can both be very useful, especially if you're not using spells to target or things that are going to need to pass a saving throw. Then Giant Breaker can actually do more debilitating to hit debuffs against a single target, and that's where Giant Breaker really comes in handy. The Rupturing Blade is not great. I've tried to look for builds on this, and nobody has one. What makes the Rupturing Blade a thing is Searing Blood. So you cut into an enemy, you deal 2d6 slashing damage, and an addition, or I take that back. It's 1d6 plus 6 slashing damage, and an additional 1d6 fire damage to them, but you take 1d6 slashing damage yourself. The only way this becomes really effective is if you're resistant to slashing damage, and that means that you have either the amulet that gives it to you, or the ring that gives it to you, or you've cast Blade Ward on yourself. And in that case, you can stack up damage. However, it's a lot of preparation if you don't have those items to be able to cast Blade Ward, because it's an action to do it. If you get healed and it gives you Blade Ward, that's another story. But Searing Blood, again, is only for one attack per short rest. So you're putting a lot of items or item economy into one attack. Can be useful, but again, not something that I think I'm going to spend any gold on. The Titan String Bow is one of, if not the best bow in the game. For a couple of reasons. One, it's a longbow, so it's doing 1d8, which is the second highest amount of damage you're going to be doing with a ranged attack through one of your crossbows, bows, that sort of stuff. The main thing about this, however, is Titan Weapon. This weapon deals an additional damage equal to your strength modifier. Now, this is where things can get really stupid, because if you're playing a rogue character or a sneaky type character, the additional damage equal to your strength modifier gets tacked on as damage riders to multiple things. So it gets tacked on to critical, it gets tacked on to critical hits, it gets tacked on to sneak attack damage, it gets tacked on to a bunch of different things. And if you're playing with a sneak character who's also using strength elixirs, like the potion or the elixir of Hill Giant Strength or Cloud Giant Strength, you can really add in a bunch of additional damage here with the Titan String Bow. You can dip this and add in elemental damage. You can also apply your Draconic, your Drakethroat Glaive buffs to this. You can do a lot of things with this that can really stack this up. The Titan String Bow is something you definitely want to pick up. Even if you don't necessarily have a use for it right off the bat, you will at some point. So the next is the Jolty Vest. This is medium armor, which makes it a little less useful in my case, because I picked up the quarterstaff to do it. However, there is a use for this that can synergize with a portion of a build that I'm going to do here in a little bit. So I'm going to pick it up. Gloves of Hail of Thorns, not really all that useful unless you have just an open glove slot somewhere. Have somebody who's not wearing gloves right now. This gives them the ability to cast Hail of Thorns, which can be useful. It's once per short rest, so it can be nice to pick up. It's fairly cheap in that regard, so if you can afford it, sure, might as well do it. But the last thing that you absolutely cannot miss from Brem is the Gloves of Thievery. They give you advantage on sleight of hand checks. Advantage is just massive. You can't overstate it enough. So you do not want to miss this. If you buy nothing else from Brem, you are buying the Gloves of Thievery. Okay? Now, you can see I'm at 1,800 gold, and that's over the 1,600 gold limit. So what that means is that this cost me 1,802 gold here. If I hadn't upped his attitude, this would probably be costing somewhere around 2,400 gold. So I'm spending 1,802 on this, plus the 400 gold I gave him to raise his attitude, so it cost me 2,200 for this. Instead of 2,400 buying it straight up without improving his attitude. So I'm saving 200 gold here. That's the break-even point, is 4 times that 400 gold donation. So 1,600 gold. If you're spending more than that, definitely come up here and raise his attitude first. I'm going to think about Giant Breaker. This is going to take me up to 2,400, so I'm going to be getting really high up there on my overall gold usage, but I think I'm still going to be all right. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to get rid of all of my trash here, and I'm going to carefully look through it as I go. So all of that's good. All of that's good. So that's one trash bag. Now, Lae'zel's trash bag is going to be worth more, because I believe she has some armors in here. Yeah, and here's where things are going to get a little higher as they go up. Okay. Is there anything else? The water. I did not break apart my shovels. I need to do that. So now when I balance this, I still have over 1,000 gold left. Now, the last thing that I do want to do is pick up these 3 potions of invisibility. Potions of invisibility are way too useful. Don't leave them behind, especially in the early game. On honor mode, they allow you a way out. If something happens, people go unexpectedly hostile, the potions of invisibility give you a way out of that situation that you might not have any other way. That's why I chose invisibility as a spell on my bard. It gives you an out in case you need it because you stepped into something you didn't mean to do.
Pleasure.
The last thing I'm going to do here is split my shovels. Doesn't matter who those go to. So the Jolty Vest is going to Astarion. The Gloves of Hail of Thorns can go on anybody who doesn't have any gloves. I probably won't put them on Lae'zel, though. I'll wait until we're done with Will. So I'm going to put Herald on Lae'zel first. And that light crossbow I'm going to keep. But I will sell that one. The Titan String Bow, we're going to have a special use for it. The Gloves of Thievery will definitely go to Astarion. He loses the +1 to sleight of hand here, but he gains advantage. Just a huge win. And Giant Breaker we're going to keep for now as well. Okay, so I will talk to him one last time.
Something I can help you with? Of course. Got some interesting
And
stuff
we will
for a
sell
friend of the
off
family.
that crossbow and the 6 shovels. And now we're ready to get out of here. I've got some extra candles, it looks like, but not too worried about it. So from here, there's nothing else that I'm going to do in here. I'm going to come back to this place later and do some searching and some sneaking and that sort of stuff. But for now, I'm going to head back to the Risen Road. This will take me back here right by the toll house. And we're going to go talk to Karlach. Fan favorite Karlach I know. Oh, stop. Stop. Okay. So I missed one. I saved everybody else. Forgot that they were going to try and want to go that way.
Something over there.
Let's see what this does. Another step forward. That'll fill my pack.
One horn, the stink of Avernus. Advocatus Diaboli.
Well, I'll be God's damned. The Blade of Frontiers. Thought I'd shaken you for good. That'll teach me to underestimate you. Bloody right. An honor to be chased by the Blade of Frontiers, but I...
A great heat roars through you. Her heat, fiery as the hells. Then you're lost in visions of demonic armies as you tear through a landscape of fire and blood, the Blood War. You saw it from above as the Nautiloid passed through Avernus. This woman was on the front line.
What was that?
Evidence. Proof that you're a devil. A gladiator in the archdevil Zariel's army.
I can explain, but it's a whole situation. If you just hear me out...
Another vision. Karlach's blade raised, slicing through devils, Zariel's servants, as her eyes dart around, seeking escape. Her rage and desperation seep into you. She is a victim of the Blood War, not an agent of it.
She's trying to trick us. Don't believe her lies.
You saw the truth. I never wanted to serve Zariel. I was enlisted in her army against my will. Forced to fight, and fight I did. When I saw an opportunity to get away, I took it. Finally home. Or near it, anyway.
You served her. That's enough to damn you.
Will catches his breath and his lips straighten. Sheer dread twists his face.
You don't know what you're saying. You're asking me to trust a devil.
You know monsters, right? Better than anyone. Look into my eyes. Can't you see I'm not what you think?
Shit. You really are no devil, are you? I've been deceived.
Oh, thank the gods. Thought I was gonna have to take your head.
You would have died in the attempt. But there have been enough threats today.
Truce then, eh?
Aye. Truce.
I'm Karlach, but you already knew that. And you are... Well met, soldier. Nice to meet a friendly around here. It's been tough going so far. I may not be a devil, but I can put the Blade's reputation to work. How would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards? Little background, if your moral compass needs something to point at. You already know I fought in the Blood War. I was good. Really good. It turns out I've got a knack for killing demons. That made me a valuable asset. Zariel, the archdevil herself, made me as her personal attack dog. I played along until I could get the fuck out of there. But devils don't like to lose their assets. Zariel liked it so little. She sent a bunch of goons, so-called Paladins of Tyr, to take me back. Problem is, I'm not going. yes. They cornered me outside the toll house just up the hill. Doubt they've gone far after the scorching I gave them. Then we can work on evicting this parasite and take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good? I'd hug you if it wouldn't scorch your skin off.
Looks like your troops all trooped up. You'll need to send someone packing if you want me to join.
Until later, then.
Let's hop.
Okay, so Karlach, we're going to have
What's so funny?
something specific planned. We'll talk to Will first here.
So, Will, now that we've made peace, how about we get to know each other properly? What's your story?
Not so much a story as a pantomime. And I've played my part all too poorly.
Don't worry, we're gonna go along and have the fight, because I know y'all want to see it.
Go on. We're listening.
It means that a reckoning's coming. And I'll be the one to pay up.
You make it sound like a harvest of devils coming for your throat.
You're closer than you know. One night soon when we make camp, the veil will be lifted, and I'll face my penance. You're not in any danger, I promise. I can't say the same about me.
Okay, so for Karlach, we do have a specific purpose in mind for her. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Level 2 Barbarian really gets us reckless attack. That's the main thing here. We are going to get danger sense, so we have advantage against traps and that sort of stuff, but not really a big deal. Level 3, there's a lot of ways you can go with her subclass. I'm going to choose Berserker here. That gets me bonus action, Frenzied Strike, and Enraged Throw. Gives me Frenzy, which is the same thing as Berserk. It's not a big thing. It just also allows me to use these actions here. And then for her feat. Right now, I'm going with Great Weapon Master. That's going to give me a -5 to hit, but a +10 to damage. I can help offset that with the advantage I gain from Reckless Attack. And then if I land a crit or kill a target, I can make a weapon attack, another weapon attack with a bonus action. Okay, so now I'm going to head back to my camp.
Those paladins I need to stomp are that away.
Yes, I know. And we're going to swap Will out for...
Karlach incoming.
Actually, it's not Karlach. I want to take over there.
Intestines throb, blood whispers. Already feeling better.
A devil and devil hunter standing shoulder to shoulder against a common enemy. Rather poetic, I think. Oh, nothing would give me greater pleasure. Which of our esteemed company am I stepping in for? Wonderful. Lead on, then.
Okay, and now we probably have enough
What a day.
action economy to do
Let's move.
this fight. Yeah, so that way I don't have to waste any more time with the cutscene that's going to happen if I take a long rest here. So we need to get some of this brought back up, and as part of that, Karlach is going to be armored up. He'll take a light crossbow. She will also take not... Yeah, she will take Herald right now, my fault. I'll keep Giant Breaker stored on Lae'zel. She's taking the Everburn Blade, but also Hammeraft. And she's going to take a Soul Coin. Okay, so is that it? I'll give her the Moondrop Pendant as well. Might as well. And we're definitely going to take the Drow Poison. Okay. Alright, so we are going to leave camp here, and we're going to go get into a fight.
From this distance... Hey, we're still going after those Paladins, right? Can't leave Zariel's bruisers roaming the coast. Good news. Can't wait to see them finished.
And we're going to do this a little risky, just for your sake.
Keep your distance down.
So the first thing that we want to do is have Astarion drink an elixir of Hill Giant Strength. That's going to put his strength up to 21. So he now has a +5 to strength checks, and that means he has a +5 bonus to damage with the Titan String Bow.
Still in control. Just breathe deep and move.
And we're going to run everybody else out here. We're going to put everybody in hiding. We're going to break the group, and we're going to go in here with Astarion.
Yes,
now, you do not have to trigger this conversation. Okay? You can start this fight off hiding. However, there's a reason I'm going to trigger it, and that's because I want to trigger this fight. I want to make them hostile, because right now they are not. I want them to be red. And then I want to escape and reset the fight, and then go back into it. The reason for it is because that way I can trigger a surprise round in this fight. Anders will one-shot you. He's got a huge sword. He's got an aura of protection, so he's hard to hit with spells that debilitate him. He's got extra attack, and he's a paladin, which means he can tack Divine Smite on top of this. So his first Nova Burst damage attack against you is 2 Divine Smites, utilizing his extra attack. And then he will use his Greatsword to cast Shield of Faith on himself, which means his armor class goes up to 16, and he becomes harder to hit. So I want to cause as much damage as I can to Anders, and try and eliminate him, and a surprise round is going to help me do that. But I need to get into conversation with him, and this is why I have Astarion doing it.
Our scouts told us you'd come. The Devil's ally. Come to finish us, have you? I'm sure she's invented a fascinating history of our crimes. The truth is far simpler. We are Paladins of Tyr, Lord of Justice. He sent us after an infernal being straight out of the Nine Hells, hiding in the form of a one-horned tiefling, Karlach. She slaughtered countless refugees fleeing the Absolute. Yesterday, she butchered an entire family. We were lucky to survive our encounter with her. First, I was burned within an inch of my life, and now I'm stuck playing pantomime. I can't take it anymore. Karlach is going back to Avernus, and if she won't go quietly, she dies. It looks like I'll have to kill you first, which I quite look forward to. Bye-bye.
Okay, I rolled first. You are more than likely going to roll before Anders. He doesn't have a great initiative roll. Trin is the one you have to worry about as to whether or not you're going to beat her initiative or not. She can cast Ensnaring Strike, which can lock you in place, and then things can become a problem. So that's what's dangerous about doing it this way. But in this case, we don't have any problems. So they are hostile. I'm going to move out of the detection cone. I'm going to go into hiding.
Ready or not?
Here. I'm going to make my way around the side of the building.
This will do nicely.
I'm going to use my action to dash out here. I'm going to move down here to the corner and just end my turn. Because this is not a surprise round. Okay, and now the fight ends. If you stand outside the door and you sneak attack, or you attack them through the door, you also are, when they are temporarily hostile or they are yellow, you are not going to get a surprise round out of that. Now, if I am able to get an attack off on Anders, it's going to be a surprise round. So I want to look and see where I can best do that. Okay, and here I can do it. I don't have to move. I'm not in his detection cone. I have advantage on this, and I'm going to throw in an arrow of acid here, I believe. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to throw in an arrow of Ilmater here instead. Because I don't want him healing if I fail to kill him in this first round. And I want to watch where Cyril's going, because I want to come in that back door. Oh, boy. I did not expect that. Okay. I didn't get a surprise round out of it because I passed my stealth check. I didn't expect to pass my stealth check, but I also didn't expect to get that crit either. I can do this.
The subtle approach.
I don't want to move that close. There it is. That is outstanding. Astarian, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to move down here to this corner.
Be quick.
Trin's going to dash. I don't care that you did that. You're not going to be able to keep that concentration. Cyril's going to come out the back way. And now, just because we can, and we should, let's bring Karlach into this fight. Now, I'm going to change Karlach's weapon here to Hammer Aft. There's a reason for that, because I'm also going to have Karlach take a soul coin. This lasts until long rest. What this does is gives her a condition called Infernal Fury. So when she is raging, her weapon and unarmed attacks do an additional 1d4 fire damage. Or anytime her hit points drop below 25%, whether she's raging or not, she does that additional 1d4 fire damage. Okay? So if she's not in combat, she can't rage. But once she's in combat, she can rage with her bonus action. And now Hammer Raft is going to get the additional 1d4 fire damage that I have on the Everburn Blade. So that's going to up it to 6 to 19, just like the Everburn Blade does. The big difference is that I can also now have Tenacity. So if it deals 3 bludgeoning damage, and then also Shockwave, so when I jump, I'm going to cause damage as well. It gives me more options in dealing with her. Right now, Shockwave is turned off. Now it's turned on. So I'm not going to be jumping, so I can just turn it on, and I'm going to go up and I'm just going to absolutely ruin Trin with this. I mean, just ruin her. So I can make a reckless attack here, or I can just use my class action here. This is going to use both my action and my bonus action. This is once per long rest. I'm going to be taking a long rest after this anyway. So I need Great Weapon Master to be turned off with only a 51% chance to hit. But see, reckless attack is an 80% chance to hit. If I turn Great Weapon Master on, reckless attack still has a 51% chance to hit. But for this, I want to make sure this lands. So an 80% chance to land a massive strike here. Okay. So now my Bard.
Oh, my hand slipped.
Okay, I'm going to be taking a long rest after this, so that ends Trin. And then Gale can move in here. And actually, where's she at? Which I'm probably not going to be able to make that work very well with her, but I can move him this side instead. And I can eliminate these mirror images. well, I could get lucky on the rolls and not eliminate the mirror images, but we'll see how it works.
Try something else.
Okay. So, got rid of 2 of her mirror images. Her armor class is still 18.
Let's spill some blood.
It's Astarian's turn here.
Let's move.
I should have hidden beforehand. I don't think she has a reaction available, though. She does not. Oh, I probably moved too far.
They will know a bit.
I did. Horrible sequence of events there. I spec'd Gale out this way? Okay. Well, neither one of those portent dice are going to do anything for me on this roll. He needs a 16 to save. They rolled 11, so that portent die isn't going to do anything for me either. Okay, so seeing what my options are to get Astarian out of that. I don't have any. Let's see if Karlach can make her way up here. Oh, I feel bad for you. I wish I didn't have to do this here. I wish I could jump into her and cause the thunder damage, but I need to get up to the roof. And she can do that. And now that she... I might as well cause this.
Eat it.
Perfect. That's what I needed to have happen.
I missed this.
Because now I can get up here with Astarian.
On the way.
Can hide.
Now they see me.
Gain advantage on this attack. Rolled an 8. Come on. Sorry about that on the mic. And that's that. So we'll talk to Karlach, and then we'll be done for the day. So Astarian taking out Anders was massive. That was huge. That was an amazing encounter. I didn't expect him to pass his stealth check there,
There better be a soft bedroll
but
in my
he
near
did,
future.
so I wasn't ready to follow up like I should have been.
Fuck them. Fuck Zariel. I won't go back. I'm never going back. And if any of Mummy's little friends want to pick up where the others left off, they'll find nothing but a pile of ash. Not big enough. Now get out before you get hurt. Now!
And she means it. She gets a condition called unbridled wrath. Okay. All right. All right. If you haven't seen this before, Yeah, she goes off. She's, yeah, David, that's perfect. She mad. She just mad.
Whew. Had to let off a little steam after facing off with those ignots. Granted, the fire's lasting a little longer than it should. How do I look? Honey, I could go all night. Hear that? Infernal engine for a heart. Lets me burn as hot as the hells. Seems to be running in overdrive since I left Avernus. Won't be seeing my mechanic anytime soon, so I'll just make the most of the extra heat. Just don't get too close, till I've found a way to calm it down. High pain tolerance, and a dynamic duo of truly shitty bosses. But it's a bit early in the game to be getting into tragic backstories. Let's save the Scar show for later, after we've worked up an appetite for tragedy. Meanwhile, I'll need to find someone who can tune up my engine sooner rather than later. Believe me when I say this thing is hot. The first time I faced down those Paladins, they let slip there was an infernal mechanic in the area. A tiefling. He might be able to stabilize things, if I can find him. A weaponsmith, huh? Not sure if he's the guy, but I'd love to find out. A tune-up would do this rusty heart a world of good.
All right. And that is a great place for us to end the live stream today. We have recruited the fan favorite. I know you all are happy about that. And we are going to be utilizing Karlach a lot more in this playthrough than we do on the other playthroughs. So you'll get to see a build for her, how we utilize her throughout the playthrough, and how things end up working out. So should be a good time. Off stream, I don't think there's a whole lot for me to do. So we're going to pick up here next stream, and we're going to just loot the bodies here. And then we're going to head back to the Druid Grove temporarily and work out the conversation with Karlach and Damon. And then continue on, and we're going to be moving into the Goblin Camp next week. So should be a lot of fun and interesting things to do in there. So a lot of action-packed stuff coming up next week that we're going to deal with. So as always, thank you all for being here. And El Scorcho, thank you for being here. I was kind of busy. And Space Monk Gaming, thanks for being here. Have I jumped Raphael yet? Yes, I have. I had the encounter with Raphael. I switched out of my conversation and attacked him. So he's going to be showing up in our camp at the end of Act 1 when we travel to Act 2. And we will attempt to get the Helldusk armor from him at that point. So, yes, thank you all for being here. I certainly appreciate, thank you all for all of the comments in chat. I really enjoy interacting with all of you because, as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.